I've heard stories about the Kunari, you know.
Oh?
They conquered nearly all of the north, Tevinter, Loghain, and Tiva. Much of the land was laid waste. In the northern kingdoms, they say the Kunari are implacable, relentless, more like a landslide than an invasion. It took 3 exalted marches to drive them back to the sea.
We'll do better next time. I didn't think it was a human practice, making a comrade of a defeated foe.
It isn't. These are unusual circumstances.
It is encouraging to see.
Encouraging? How so?
Perhaps your people are becoming more like Kunari. You could do worse.
Do you mean to say that Kunari do make comrades of their beaten opponents?
Kunari do not waste resources, and few are more valuable than lives.
How exactly do you go about making your enemies work for you?
We're a persuasive people, if you couldn't tell.
Can't see that happen. Both Mira and Mira deciding to take Loghain. Both Mira and Stan are practical and almost utilitarian, so...
You are much taller than I expected.
Am I? You expected me to be short?
Well, you are also younger than I imagined. Great generals are supposed to be old men who sit far from the battlefield.
I've never been nor hope to be a great general, then.
No? I suppose that explains your loss at Ostagar, then.
I see you staring owlishly at me, young lady. I suppose you disapprove of me being here as well.
No, indeed. You are a vast improvement over Alistair. That, however, is not saying a great deal.
Don't look at me like that. No, absolutely not. There is no time. We have work to do. Fine. Bring me the stick. But this is the last time, I swear it. What do you want now? I don't understand you. Are you trying to say something about a child in a well? No? Never mind then.
What's a go?
Come on, come on. Find something. Slightly damaged cake. Oh. You just found this then? It looks yummy. Yeah, looked yummy maybe at some point.
Something like an abomination, maybe. Oh, well, that isn't good.
Found a cake, a soggy brown cake-like object that has probably seen better days. This was found by dog. Flecks of dog spittle still cling to it. Stan, you like cakes?
You have my thanks.
His disposition is very high, but yeah, if you ask the dog to look around, he will find random stuff. And I think he finds gifts, really. I think, yeah, that's something he can do.
So, this Grey Warden didn't become king after all. Merrick's bastard.
Well, apparently they left the decision up to the other Grey Warden, the hero.
Maybe they just should have made that Grey Warden the new queen.
I heard that.
I don't think I can become a queen.
Here, some smoked boar safe from supper. It'll do you good. I had a Mabari once. Adala, that was her name. We found her in the woodshed one night. She was still a pup then. We never figured out where she came from. My mother called her a gift from the Maker. And she really was. She was beautiful. She had a lovely chestnut brown coat and the most intelligent, understanding eyes. You would have liked her.
Of course you would.
We grew up together. She never left my side, not once. 10 years we had her, before she was taken away.
Taken away?
Another time, perhaps. Finish your snack.
Hmm.
Telling me that Terran Loghain became a Grey Warden after all that?
That's what everyone's saying.
So he's gonna fight the Darkspawn after all. I guess that works out somehow.
Well, you didn't think he was gonna hang, did you? I never believed that for a second.
I have been setting down in ink the tales of our exploits, and I have been thinking about ways to describe you. You are unlike any animal I have ever met. Almost human in your intelligence and understanding. So, let me see. You're loyal, yes? That one is obvious. Very, very clever. This is also obvious. You are terrifying when you have to be, but gentle and sweet as a dove at other times. And you are also playful. Sometimes gluttonous. No? What is all this begging for food scraps then? Well, all right. You're not gluttonous. You're just a lover of fine foods. How's that?
So, you're a Farelden girl who decided to live in Orlais.
I did not decide to live in Orlais. My mother took me there with her. I know how you feel about the Orlesians, but I am not one of them.
You may as well be. You grew up there, your views and values are theirs. I've heard you speaking with the others. You find Farelden unsophisticated, barely civilized.
No, this is not true.
You're painted to look like you're a Farelden, but scratch the surface and find nothing but Orlais underneath.
I actually kind of agree, Liliana, but it's not a fault, really. I mean, for him, it is a fault. Welcome back. So, you listened to a lot of banter. I didn't put it all in. Honestly, I just put some bits that I liked. And there is much more banter to be had, but I've had enough. I wanted to see Loghain interact with the people like Stan or Liliana or Morrigan, which are the protagonists of Mira's stories. And yeah, it was nice, indeed. I bet there is more dialogue, and you can find on YouTube many videos about the banter, all the variations and everything. But this is not what we are here to do. We are here to move on right about now. We are going to have a lot of dialogue with Loghain right now. Prepare yourself. I'm gonna do it all at once because this is the last chance we have. In game, if you have to finish some quests, you can do them now. I don't think so.
I passed your test. Fate has a twisted sense of humor, it seems. I suppose you think I'm some sort of monster. More so since I survived your ritual. You keep striking at me, and I just refuse to die decently.
Ah, well. I may have to resort to magic next.
Oh? What was all that nonsense with the Darkspawn blood and mages?
Indeed.
A puppet show? It seems to me that magic has already failed. I'd recommend a sharp knife in the kidneys next time. Less impressive, but it gets the job done.
It's actually true. I also think that the joining is a blood ritual, and it could very well be blood magic. In fact, the Wardens are not contrary to blood magic at all. Shouldn't you be trying to talk me out of killing you, really? Actually, the plan loses something when you're the one suggesting it. By the way, Mira is not being aggressive, she's being kind of sarcastic but friendly.
I suppose it does lack the element of surprise. Well, what shall we do to settle things between us then?
Nothing. Maybe you should do what I tell you to do. Maybe.
Or what? You'll kill me? Go ahead. The joining was my death sentence anyway. It's hardly my fault that it failed to produce the desired result, Warden.
Honestly, I really wanted you to leave, and I want you to obey me. It's fundamental for Mira to have Loghain on her side. Because of Anora, of course. But we had also a conversation with Leliana regarding, you know, the nice methods. Okay, dog, just don't. I already have real-life dogs that are insufferable. They're not mine, that bark continuously. But even you? Oh, good God. I'm a cat person. Leliana said to us, I think you can safely say that you catch the attention of a person more if you act friendly, and instead of, you know, acting harsh or basically befriending your enemy or befriending somebody you want to manipulate. It's gonna turn easier on you. I mean, it's gonna turn easier on you. It's gonna be better for you because the person that you're manipulating probably wouldn't even know or would like what you're doing. So, okay, that dog is annoying, really. This is still your death sentence. Remember that.
I assure you, it's foremost on my mind. I think it's time we got to the point here. What do you want from me?
I told you.
I can't imagine that you spared my life in the Landsmeet by accident. You have some plan in mind.
Yeah, do what I want. Of course I... Oh, let's be nice. I don't think he got that Mira was being sarcastic, but let's be nice. You tell me, what do you want?
What I want? What an odd question.
Not for me.
I want to ride back to Denerim and sit in the war room and find no empty chairs at the table. I want to lose, nothing else. I want a line clearly drawn that I can defend. I want an end to this war. All of this can rightly be called my fault. Whether or not you can do better remains to be seen. But if you can make this the end, Warden, I will follow you, I swear it.
Indeed, your line is the Darkspawn. Your line. I mean, not the one you have to defend. The Darkspawn is your aim here. It's your vocation in life and everything. Oh. Yeah, of course, Mira wants to leave, right? Because what about all that she accomplished now? She wants to live and live as a hero, of course. She wants also rewards and a position and everything. We will find a way to end this blight, for sure.
Andraste, help us then. We should speak no more of this at present. Time's wasting.
All right. I was being sarcastic, by the way. I really don't mind you here. Quite the contrary. Let's give him some of the stuff that I found for him. He likes maps, I suppose. I mean, I know. But I don't think he mentioned disliking anywhere, nor in conversation. I think if you go in the Codex and read his bio, you will find this out, I think.
I'm surprised. Thank you.
You're surprised? I have 3 of them. Where are you? Worm? You know what?
I'm surprised. Thank you.
Get them all, so we are going to finish your dialogue quickly. It's a little bit of a pity that you get him so late in game, because you don't really have a reason to go around with him anymore except to end game. So you don't really experience him. By the way, he has a very good... he has his own armor and is very good.
I suppose I shouldn't be surprised at your success. You beat me. Perhaps you can do this after all.
What does that mean?
Nothing. Don't mind me. Do you want something? I suppose I have a moment.
I mean, why do you hate Orlais so much? I think we already know why he does. Let's ask something more interesting. What would you have done if you'd won?
I suppose that depends on how much of the kingdom was left by then.
Indeed.
Once the border was secure, the army would have regrouped to push back the Darkspawn in the south.
It might have been too late. How could you afford to divide our forces? Like, what were you thinking about, really? I mean, the border was in no danger is true as well. In my opinion. I think he's a little bit obsessed with Orlais and stuff. But how could you afford... Really, how did he think that dividing the forces was a good idea?
We couldn't, especially after Ostagar. It wasn't an ideal plan, but it seemed necessary at the time. In any case, there's no use discussing this. We have much work left to do.
Yeah, but I want to ask for things. Were you really going to kill Anora? I don't think so. Anora implied it, but maybe she wasn't telling the truth either. I mean, he didn't do anything openly hostile to Anora except maybe locking her into Harlhouse's estate. And even that, maybe he thought he was doing the right thing again, but were you really going to kill her?
Anora always did have a flair for the dramatic. She could have been...
Yes. Why? I knew I shouldn't have trusted her. She did what she was right for her to keep the throne, so... She risked his head, by the way. It's pure chance that both Loghain and Anora are here. Pure chance. And some machinations by Mira that they are both alive here. Why would she invent such a story? We know why. You didn't answer the question, I suppose.
It's a foolish question. I'm sure you think me capable of every sort of evil, but Anora is my only child.
So I broke into the royal palace for nothing. What's that? What's why me though? What does it mean? I broke into the royal palace for nothing? No. I don't believe you. No. Not necessarily. Why me though?
Is that a serious question? Is there someone else you know of who could stand up to the Landsmeet? But enough about Anora. We ought to get moving.
Oh, why me though was referred to why she was chosen maybe to stand in the Landsmeet, or Anora tried to ally herself with her. But it's still, I'm still thinking a little bit about it, because, well, yeah, once Loghain is defeated, Mira becomes a Grey Warden of respect. Until Loghain is alive, she's diminished as a Grey Warden. She has no power, she has no status, so... I think Anora and Mira helped each other, really. It was not only about Anora. Maybe they accidentally helped each other. But it worked. It worked in the end. Do you think Anora will make a good queen?
Anora is a good queen. She has been for 5 years now.
So you're not at all concerned about leaving her all alone?
I am a bit, but she'll do well. I have to say that anyway, for if word gets back to her that I said otherwise, she'll be furious. In all seriousness, Honora is formidable. You should know that by now.
Indeed, Mira does know that. Will the bands follow her?
They always have before. Few among the nobles have ever been under any illusions as to who really held power in Denerim. Honora is strong enough to endure. She may make a few mistakes along the way, but she'll survive them. But this isn't the time to discuss such things.
Well, it's true, she's alone. Not that Alistair would have helped her, and now her father is with the Grey Wardens, so he wouldn't be able to be present in politics, because Wardens are supposed to be apolitical. I mean, they should be. But he will not be able to be next to her. So...
By all means.
What was Honora like as a child?
So far as anyone could tell, she was the undisputed monarch of the whole world. She'd fall, skin her knees, and command them to stop stinging. It may have worked, too.
If you convince yourself, yes, it can work. Did she have many friends?
Warden sits in between the Brazilian forest and the sea. It's far from the old Tevinter roads. The village by our keep was never even as big as Redcliffe. There were always a few children around. Charcoal burners, sons and daughters mostly, or the children of servants. They formed into noisy gangs in the courtyard for their games. But Honora never joined them.
Probably because she already felt like she was a queen. I mean, Mira can see why she wouldn't, because she's not the child. She's the child of a hero. She's not the child of a charcoal burner or a servant, so that's probably why she didn't join. That could become, you know, a spot on her career or something. Why would Merrick give you a Therenir in the middle of nowhere? He deserved that for the war services, I believe, because he helped him winning the war, so don't care about that. I want to know Honora's connections. What about in Denerim? Did she have friends there?
Kalen. He was a bit younger than she was, but Honora would lead him about the palace like a puppy on a leash, deep in adventures together. I believe the two of them once fought an army of ogres in the wine cellar. That was their explanation for all the broken bottles, anyway.
Oh my god.
If you're expecting some particular insight into my daughter's character, I'm afraid I'm probably not the best source. I'm hardly impartial.
I'm trying to find connections, but that was super sweet. She did double cross you, I just wondered why, really. We already know. But she did it to defend her position, so she had a point. I don't find it weird at all. Things turned out great for her, because she didn't even have to marry Alistair. But yeah, having Loghain is definitely even better for Mira, because Honora supposedly kind of cares for him. Even if she did double-cross him. Well, no one alive knows her better than you, I suppose.
You think so? I'm not certain of that myself. But this is not really the time or place to discuss my daughter. We have work to do. Go ahead.
Why do you hate Orlais so much?
Hate doesn't describe it. I've seen painted, masked lords beat an old farmer to death with riding crops. To this day, I don't know why. Is that hate? I saw good, sensible men fight armored chevaliers with nothing. No weapons, no armies, not even hope of success to see the occupation end. Is that hate?
Well, I get you. There is not the answer that I want to say, unfortunately. I get him. all of that was in the past. It's important to remember the past. If something bad happens in the past, you have to remember it forever so you don't make the same mistake. So our legions may be good now, but what about tomorrow? I mean, isn't it right? Maybe it's not really right because he's very, very prejudiced, but maybe it isn't hate, but it isn't right either.
Nothing about war is right. It's a force of nature, like rain, or wind, or faith. It simply exists, and we deal with its consequences.
And you're right. You fought for the right reasons then, why not now? Yeah, I guess the Orlesian invasion was not a priority. I would have defeated the Blight first and then turned on my borders.
My reasons weren't wrong. I wanted to defend my home. I made tactical errors.
Yeah.
In any case, there's no use discussing this. We have much work left to do.
You should have switched your priorities.
Go ahead.
How well did you know King Marek?
He was my friend. If he'd wanted to conquer the Fade, I would have led the charge.
How did you meet him?
I was hunting, well, poaching, to be entirely honest, when a boy my own age came stumbling out of the woods. He was so dirty, you'd have thought he'd been dug up out of the ground.
Okay. What was he running from?
The traitorous bootlickers who'd just murdered the Queen, though I didn't know it at the time. He was bloody, exhausted, and obviously being hunted. I offered to take him to my father's camp.
Yeah, he was a farmer, but they had to retreat to a camp, I think, because of the invasion, so they couldn't. His land was probably stolen. And that boy was Marek then?
Yes. I didn't find out who he was for a while, though. But I've rattled on for too long already. We should get moving.
But why? What made him such a great king?
There are men who inspire such devotion that everyone around would lay down their lives for him. And there are men who would come and go from this world, and no one notes it. What makes them so? Your guess is as good as mine. Marek was remarkable. That's all I can say of him.
Why didn't he acknowledge Alistair? That's interesting.
He nearly did. Marek was never one to avoid his duty, and given his preference, he would have acknowledged his son no matter the circumstance. But he had more than his honor to think of. It would have ruined Rowan, after all. She'd be reduced to a concubine in the eyes of our neighbors, and put Kaelin's status as heir in question.
Indeed.
So Marek made the hard choice. Eamon offered to raise the boy, and that was that.
It makes sense. For the Queen and for the other kid. When you have more than one male heir, yes, you have a good line, but you also have probably a lot of brothers that are vying for the throne. Probably not somebody with Alistair's attitude, but you never know. Yeah, Kaelin took a peasant's daughter as queen. The daughter of a war hero, remember? So it was all politics. Of course it was.
Kings don't get the luxury of escaping.
Indeed.
But we've been idle long enough. We should get moving.
Do you have something else?
Go ahead.
Nope. I think I think we're done. Okay, guys, we're ready to go to Radcliffe. I'm curious, does Loghain have anything to say about dog? No, probably not. Alright then. That's something that's missing, an interaction between dog and Loghain in camp. I think everybody has interactions with dog, except Schmooples for obvious reasons. I also gave these guys here some money, some gems, whatever I could find. So there. We're ready to go to Radcliffe. And we're going with... I think I'm gonna keep my...
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Liliana, you should come.
Indeed.
I think this will be my final party as well. Radcliffe. Here we come. Hello, Radcliffe, I see. Wow. I see things are going great here. Hello?
It's you! The Grey Warden! Andraste's mercy that you got here when you did. I thought for sure these monsters were going to get me.
When did the Darkspawn get here?
Just a few hours ago. Not that long after everyone was evacuated to the castle. I thought I could make it to my home and back before they got here, but it took me too long to get down here. What a relief you arrived.
Are there more Darkspawn at the castle?
By now, yes. They'd have reached the castle walls. I'm going to get out of here before any more of those things arrive. Thank you again.
Oh god. Great.
Going.
So, now something happens to the game that I don't quite like. I think maybe I should raise my difficulty, but I really never understand why it happens. I should find an explanation. This Darkspawn, you destroy it basically with one hit. It's just that easy.
Right.
I think... Yeah, I saw you. Loghain.
Violence is a solution. Sometimes. Not bad.
Live to fight another day.
Yeah, the enemies become increasingly, they become basically super easy in this part of the game. Only in this little part of the game.
More Darkspawn, hey?
Yeah.
If you insist, I never liked this.
Look at them.
Part. Oh, right. Here comes trouble. I'll try to be so much better than that. Yes.
Eliana, come down.
Oh, right.
Eliana? Yeah, the enemies become very easy for this little part of game. Until the last fight. Denerim Siege.